There are some very sensitive topics mixed into today's news mashup. I will put the very sensitive ones at the end. So just be aware. The birth rate is falling globally, and we haven't gotten the official numbers for the United States yet, but right now, this article is about Europe. So this one is entitled As Europe Struggles with Tumbling Birth Rate, Greece Tries Desperately to Reverse the Trend. Army Sergeant Christos Giannakadis, please forgive me, was planning to have a second child when Greece's debt crisis exploded last decade, erasing hope of extending the family. One son is expensive enough, he says, especially the cost of ferrying him around his remote corner of northeastern Greece, where the number of children has plummeted in recent years. Most afternoons, he drives his 13-year-old Nicholas 50 kilometers, that's 31 miles, to play football with the few other children scattered across the region. If Nicholas needs a pediatrician, it is even further. To have a family these days, you need to become a hero, Giannakadis says on the sideline of a recent soccer practice. To have a second child, more money must come into the house. As much of Europe struggles with the tumbling birth rates that experts say threaten long term economic well being, Greece is a stark example of how hard it will be to reverse the trend. In 2022, it recorded the lowest number of births in 92 years, according to the most recent data, driven by the debt crisis that led to years of austerity and immigration and changed attitudes among the young. Preliminary official data indicate another drop in 2023. Greece's fertility rate is one of the lowest in Europe. Some villages have not recorded a single birth in years. The government is planning in May to unveil new measures to boost birth rates, officials told Reuters. The plan includes cash benefits for families, affordable housing for young people, financial incentives for assisted reproduction, and incorporating migrants into the workforce, according to officials drafting the initiatives, including the family minister. The full size and cost of the plan is not yet clear. However, similar measures have fallen flat in other EU countries in recent decades, and demographers expect little difference in Greece. Even those behind the plans have doubts. If I were to tell you that any given minister at any given ministry can reverse the trend, it would be a lie. Sophia Zakaraki, Greece's Minister for Social Cohesion and Family Affairs, told Reuters. Still, she said, we need to keep trying. Giannakadis village of Orminio and the wider Oristriata municipality, one of the country's poorest, revealed the magnitude of the problem. The population of Oristriata, a crop growing area bordering Turkey and Bulgaria, shrank 16% between 2011 and 2021, census data show. Orminio used to be full of children, but now two-thirds of the 300 residents are over the age of 70, said the village president Stratos Villasadias. Nicholas, the only 13-year-old in Orminio, spends much of his weekends playing video games alone. He wants to leave at 18. I might send him to my sister in Germany to study, his father said. The silence that blankets Orminio is occasionally broken by church bells that peal over shuttered businesses and an empty playground, and by the mobility scooters elderly men drive to a cafe for their games of backgammon. Most of the church pews are unoccupied at Sunday Mass. Trains that pass through Orminio used to bring visitors, but today it brings tanks bound for Ukraine. A newly extended border fence in the area. Part of the conservative government's toughening immigration policy keeps undocumented migrants out. We used to gather at weddings, at baptisms. Now we meet at funerals, says 61-year-old Chrysola Ionidel. You guys are going to have to forgive the names. I'm trying. There are very few births. Vassiliadis' brother, Theodoros, a speech therapist, organizes art workshops for 20 or so children from surrounding villages. He said isolation has stunted their social skills. One boy's stutter worsened because he had no friends to talk to. He said another cycles the village's empty streets alone. Armenio's situation is mirrored to varying degrees across Greece and the EU, where governments including France, Italy, Norway, and Spain have spent billions of euros on pro-child measures, often to little avail. Greece's economy has rebounded in recent years, The falling birth rates are, according to Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis, a national threat and a ticking time bomb for pensions. Even before the incentives plan for May, the government created a birth allowance and tax breaks on baby items and extended private sector maternity benefit. These have shown little signs of working. This is one of the most serious problems we face, not only in Greece, but in the EU as a whole. Finance Minister Kostis Hatzidakis told Reuters, "It is our priority, whatever it takes." Part of the government's challenge is to overcome the trauma of the debt crisis. Just a few years ago, as protests raged over the government's austerity policies, youth unemployment was over 60%. It remains around 25%. Hundreds of thousands of young Greeks left. Those that remain are often priced out of property market due to inflation and soaring rents. Many live with their parents until their 30s. Does this not sound like what is going on in America to some degree? Orestiada municipality suffered heavily. A sugar factory that provided hundreds of jobs shut down and is fenced off in an overgrown lot. Scores of other businesses are boarded up too. That sounds like the manufacturing that is going on or that shut down in America as well. The nearest primary school to Armenio, which serves 17 villages, is thinning out. The whole first grade, 4 children, dang, can fit in their teacher's morning embrace. Next year, there will be none. Headmaster Demetrius Rosidis said, "The future doesn't look right." First grade teacher Nectaria Maropolo says she would like to have a family, but she earns €1,000, that's around $1,000, $1,083 a month, a third of which goes to renting a tiny flat. She crosses into Turkey to buy cheaper gasoline, and her mother helps out with the bills. When you're in your 30s and earning €1,000, of course you'll think whether to have a family, she said, adding that politicians were missing the point. That they'll give €20 for the first child or 50 or 100 doesn't solve the problem. This global situation is wild. The fact that so many different countries are going through the same thing at the exact same time. And it also seems like women are not being listened to. They just want to throw a little bit of money, but these countries are not getting to the root causes of why women won't allow themselves to be impregnated. This is cultural. There are different, all this war that's going on. This is wild. You know, they mentioned Ukraine and what is going on, the war efforts, not allowing immigration. United States is being saved. I know a lot of people like to demonize the immigrants, but that is what is saving our birth rates here. Because if we actually did take out all of those immigrants, our population would look a lot like what is going on in the EU. Anyways, we are going to be watching the birth rates as the numbers come in and as the articles are written. And as we keep talking about the 4B movement and the West 4B movement, because some people want to have children. They do. But some people are saying, nope, not going to happen. Regardless, if the costs are exorbitant, if there's no child care, if there's no maternity leave, if men are not participating in the child rearing, why would women have children? Anyways, jump in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. I was scrolling the Twitter and Satan's blue check verified account says that OJ Simpson just arrived down here, WTF. So we know that OJ is dead officially because Satan is tweeting. Shadow Cringelord wants Satan to ask, can you ask him who unalived his wife? Satan says he's waiting for his lawyer to get down here before he answers, but I'm pretty sure that his lawyer has been down there for a while. Not that I truly believe in heaven and hell, but this is Satan reporting live from hell. How the situation was handled for decades has baffled me. Being so ecstatic that a person who could take a life or two lives so brutally was let back into the world always baffled me. It was not, I was watching as a kid thinking that these people were brain dead. Like, how do you celebrate something like that? And this is not even a man that cared about Black women. And Black women were some of the most vocal and happy about this. Like, why are y'all cheering this on? And like this tweet says, the difference in reaction at the OJ Simpson verdict will always be funny to me. It wasn't funny to me. It was baffling to me. Now, this was one of the jurors on his case. This was this tweet. OJ Simpson is dead. Here's a juror in his case admitting that 90% of the jury thought he committed unaliving, but set him free to stick it to Whitey because of the whole Rodney King situation. Yes, there's a whole lot of messed upness in this country, and it still is. And it this is the reason why accountability on the part of the cops really needed to happen, because they really helped fuel the flames of what was going down in LA. You've got to root out the root cause of it, which is racism, because racism is what allowed OJ to walk free for way too long.
Do you think that there are members of the jury that voted to acquit OJ because of Rodney King?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
How many of you think felt that way?
Oh, probably 90% of us.
90%? Did you feel that way?
Yes.
That was payback.
Uh-huh.
You think that's right?
This person says, I remember them saying it was payback for Rodney King. Nothing excuses what those cops did to Rodney King, but two wrongs don't make it right. Nicole was literally beheaded. The attack was so brutal. This person says, this never gets discussed in the mainstream media. They're still making movies about Emmett Till, and the jury acquitted his unalivers for racial reasons. Emmett Till needed to be talked about. All of the terrible things that have happened to Black people throughout history needed to be talked about, and justice needed to be served. That's the reason why so many Black people were perfectly fine with seeing this, and they probably would have been fine if we had had some more, tally marks on their side. But still, I think that the lack of justice that Black people get has definitely caused some of these reactions. Lots of people definitely made tons of jokes about this whole OJ situation. This person says, never forget Tim Meadows as OJ Simpson writing, I did it on the NFL Telestrator, one of the best SNL opens. This was shortly after the verdict. Definitely dark humor. And these people were very much like all in depicting themselves as OJ. And then to make so light of it is so crazy. This person is like, SNL used to be great. Like, remember in the old times where you could just joke about unaliving people. It, man, just brings back fond memories. Wit Wisdom says that sketch was gold. Meadows' facial expressions alone made it one of the funniest SNL bits ever. The way he nervously scribbled while sweating bullets had me in tears. Still can't believe they pulled that off so soon after the trial verdict. Comedy gold. And then someone says, let's not forget about Mad TV's take with Orlando Jones as OJ. So this person says, this got to be OJ Simpson right now. Garcia says, OJ realizing unaliving gets you into hell. This person says, Aaron Hernandez and OJ Simpson seeing each other in hell. And like I said, who knows if there's a hell or not? I don't know. But this was under Satan, who has a verified blue check mark under his account. All right. So, yes, this dude is dead. Yes, I'm totally sure I would bet all $47 in my checking account that he was guilty. You guys go ahead and weigh in on this news. Jump in the comments. This next story is so terrible that I'm not even going to play this man's TikTok video, but this man is a stepfather, and there was a DV situation, and he unalived a 4-year-old. I'll put this TikToker's TikTok in the description if you want to watch it, but it is very, very sensitive. Actually, heartbreaking is a better word for this. This is deplorable. I know that the solar eclipse had some people going wacky, talking crazy stuff, but I never thought that a person would actually harm their own children because of it. This woman right here did an unaliving self-deletion and pushed her own two children out of a car, all because she went wacky because of this solar eclipse. All right, here's the story from People. Lots of different news outlets picked it up. Her name was Danielle Johnson. She unalived her partner to death before pushing her two kids out of a moving car, and then she crashed the car into a tree, according to the LAPD. On April 8th, the same day as the eclipse, Danielle Johnson pushed her two children from a movie car on a busy LA freeway at around 4:30 a.m. local time. According to the LAPD, half an hour later, Johnson then drove her Porsche SUV at over 100 miles an hour and crashed it into a tree in the city of Redondo Beach. I will say this because I'm not going to go into too many details about this story because this is very, very sensitive. The 9-year-old daughter that was holding the 8-month-old baby did survive. The 8-month-old baby did not. This is a tragic situation. And, I know that lots of people were talking crazy about the solar eclipse, but I just cannot understand or can't grasp the mental breakdown that would cause a mother to do this to their children. I'm going to leave it at that. If you want to look further into this story, it's definitely out there. You have her name. All right, jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.